So on paper, it looks like you have a good life. You're grateful, you're functioning, you're checking all the boxes, but something feels off, flat, numb, like there should be more, but you can't quite name what that more is. So if you've ever thought to yourself, I should be happy, but why do I feel stuck? Then this episode is for you. Because being unfulfilled doesn't mean that you're ungrateful. It simply means that you're evolving and you're not alone. Welcome to the Core Happiness Podcast. I'm your host, Casey Banks, a mindset and positive psychology coach. On this podcast, we discuss all things related to creating happiness from within. So let's do it. Welcome back to the show. So there was a time a while ago where I looked like I had it all together. I had a great job, a pretty high profile job. I got to travel and was working with celebrities, and I had a good relationship. I had degrees. I had great friends, great family. But inside, I felt like I was sleepwalking through life a little bit. Like I had outgrown a lot of what I was surrounded by. And I couldn't figure out why I felt so heavy because nothing was technically wrong. I wasn't in crisis. I wasn't suffering, especially not physically, but I wasn't lit up either. What used to make me happy, what used to drive me, what used to motivate me no longer did any of those things. And it took me a long time to admit that I was living a version of success that no longer matched who I was becoming. And it took me even longer to believe that wanting more didn't make me selfish or broken. It just was a sign that I was ready for the next phase. I think there's a very specific ache that happens when your outer life looks fine, but your inner world feels restless. And it's hard to name because you're not in acute pain, so it doesn't feel urgent. You worry that wanting more feels ungrateful or seems ungrateful. And you don't even know what more means yet. So this is discomfort of disconnection is what I like to call it. It's the discomfort of living a life that reflects your past choices, but not your present truth. And it's one of those misunderstood emotional states because it doesn't look like a breakdown, but it does often precede a breakthrough. And here's what I mean. Your life reflects who you used to be, not who you are now. So if you think about it, maybe you chose a job, a relationship, a routine, whatever it is, based on what made sense at one point in your life. And now you feel boxed in by those choices. And this is common when growth happens under the surface before it manifests externally. And you evolve emotionally, mentally, spiritually, but the people around you, the spaces that you occupy, the habits that you have on repeat are still reflecting the outdated version of you, the version of you that set up all of that you have now evolved from. And you might feel like it's kind of like wearing clothes that don't fit anymore, but emotionally instead of physically. So if this is you, I invite you to ask yourself this question. What parts of my life were built by the past version of me? What would your current self choose differently if you were designing your life today? Would you choose differently? And if you would choose differently, then start small. Shift one thing in your environment or schedule or routine that reflects you now, who you are becoming, not just the who you have been. Maybe it's changing what you listen to in the morning. Maybe it's changing who you vent to. Maybe it's saying no to something out of alignment just once. Now, here's the caveat here, because I can see how people could probably take this in the wrong direction and run with it. You don't have to burn your life down. That's not what I'm saying to do. But there might be times during transformation or evolution where you need to renovate one of the rooms of your identity to match the you that's rising or becoming. So think about it in that way. And if you're going through the emotions and the things that used to light you up now feel mechanical or obligatory, this might show up as emotional flatness, right? Where doing what you always did doesn't feel the same, or it lands a little bit differently. Or maybe you find yourself procrastinating on things that used to energize you, or feeling guilty because you're thinking, well, this should make me happy. It used to make me happy. But this is a sign that your values have just evolved. Your nervous system knows when you're out of alignment, even before your brain can catch up. So if there are things that you just are like, it's weird. I feel disconnected. I used to enjoy this. This used to motivate me. This used to light me up. Then if I were coaching you, I would ask, what used to bring you joy or meaning that now feels heavy or dull or even draining? And is it possible that you've outgrown it and something deeper is calling you now? So instead of forcing old joys to feel good again, try experimenting with something new. Sign up for a class. Read a genre book you've never read before. Or try a new hobby. But get curious. Just like as a child. So much curiosity to explore. And let the playfulness lead you on a breadcrumb of possible new interest. And it doesn't have to be a passion right away. Just explore. Sometimes joy doesn't disappear. It just changes shape over time. And you won't find it by retracing old patterns, but you will find it by getting curious again and getting playful again. Now, if you're at the point where you're kind of daydreaming about a different life in general, but you just don't know how to act, like you scroll through social media and you get little hints of like envy or longing. You imagine what it might feel like to pivot, to move, try something different, a new city, a new pace, a new expression of yourself, new haircut, new wardrobe, new style. But then you shut it down with logic, right? And you think, that doesn't make sense. People will think I'm crazy or unstable. But this voice is just self-protection. And your self-protection wants certainty, not risk. But here's the thing. If that longing never really goes away, it just buries itself deeper. And so if this is you, then what would you try or explore or say yes to if no one needed to understand or approve? Just think about it. What are the things that you would try or explore? And then make a list. It could just be like a secret desires list. No filter, no logic, just wants. And again, this is not about blowing up your life, but this is just about acknowledging what those wants are. And maybe those wants are the breadcrumbs of your soul's blueprint. I'm not saying you have to act on them. You don't have to act on them yet anyway, but honoring them, naming them is the first step. It could potentially be the direction that you're meant to move in. So if you're feeling unfulfilled, parts of you are feeling unfulfilled, that could be a signal that you're ready for something different, something more. Maybe just a change. And it doesn't always have to be a drastic change. Maybe it's just something small. So here's what I want you to know. Feeling unfulfilled doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or that you are ungrateful. It simply means that you're being called to return to something deeper. What is it that's stirring in you? And what does that mean? So if you're in that between space, not quite burnt out, but definitely not aligned either, you don't have to figure it out alone. This is exactly why I created the Core Return Reset. It is a self-paced journey to help you reconnect to your true self underneath the roles, the routines, the expectations. And you'll get realignment tools, reflection prompts, grounded audio, just so many different tools to guide you back to you. And to help you right now, I also created a free Fulfillment Gap Worksheet, which is a downloadable PDF to help you get clear on where the disconnects are and how to start closing them gently. You can find both the Core Return Reset and the Fulfillment Gap Worksheet linked in the show notes, and I hope you explore both because you deserve a life that feels good and not just looks good. Until next time.